Well, there's a new thing that's all the rage about eyebrows right now, and today we're going to talk about that. It's microblading. What would you do if you could semi-permanent on your eye, on your eyebrows, or on a hairline, or a beard line, or anything that would make it look fuller and real, but it's really just makeup? Isn't that crazy? Today we're going to find out how to do this. Hey Miranda!
Hiya.
How's it going?
Wonderful, welcome
You ready to talk about microblading today?
Absolutely.
This is going to be so cool. Well, you probably heard microblading is all the rage, especially in the eyebrow department for some of you ladies and some of you gents. And today we're going to talk about microblading. What is it? Is it painful? How long does it last? What does it cost? Where do you get it done? And we're also going to talk a little bit about the new evolvement in this technology where people are having it done for hairlines, beard, and other things. So that said, Miranda Colette is going to talk to us today about this. She is the manager of a salon in the town where I live, which is Bambū Eco Salon, which the name sort of speaks for itself. And we're going to talk about this process and all those things I just said about was it painful and all that.
Numbing cream before we ever get started, and I use it multiple times to make sure they're...
I know people I like to use numbing cream on. What about you? I know I'm not having this done to me today, so we're going to demonstrate it, but not on me. So it's somewhat permanent, up to 2 years, and then it is not very painful. It's just kind of some discomfort because you are actually coloring the skin, right?
Yes, we're making tiny little impressions, or what we call them. It's called a microblade because they're tiny, tiny little cuts where pigment is put into the skin.
It's almost like a tattoo, kind of.
It is similar to a tattoo, but it's not done with a machine. It doesn't go nearly as deep as a machine.
Okay.
It only goes in the very superficial basal layer of the epidermis.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, and the before and afters, I understand, are incredible.
They are amazing.
What they look. So,
yeah.
And then you're the artist that does this, and she also happens to manage this salon where, in case I didn't say this earlier, at Bambū Eco Salon in St. Pete, where I live. And yeah, so they do this service here, and so I'm really curious to see, since you guys keep asking me about it. So
It's really cool.
So let's go check it out.
Let's.
All right, so microblading. Let's talk about this.
First of all, this is a demo, which is why this is not a sterile area. I'm not wearing gloves.
I tried.
These are
She
all
won't
my
do it on me.
practice. Yeah,
She won't do it on me.
Practice tools.
Okay.
So what happens is you come in, I numb you up while the numbing cream is working. I use a couple different tools to determine where your base should begin, your arch should be, and where the tail of your brow should be. And once we determine that, we use interesting little tools. Once we determine exactly the width and shape that you want, that's when we go ahead and we start the microblading process. So it is a tiny little tool. There's several different needles that act all together as one blade. Very, very small. And I use this handy dandy little ring for my ink. Again, this would all be sterile and the person would be comfortable in laying down.
Out. I had to be out.
Some people, they feel that way, but most people I've worked with said that it wasn't nearly as bad as they thought. So then what I do, I use a 3-point pressure hold. I spread the skin with these two fingers as well as my pinky finger about as taut as I can possibly get it. That way the tool doesn't really have to, I don't really have to put much pressure. The tool does all the work.
Okay.
So the skin just kind of moves underneath it, and I make one impression. I like to go from one brow to the other to keep them even and to keep them in time, as far as like the same number that I'm on. And we will decide, oh, do you want a more rounded look? Do you want a more squared off look? And then once I get the general outline, or as I like to call it, the skeleton done, then you get more numbing cream. And then we decide from there, okay, we've got the outline, how dense do you want these brows to be, making the hairs closer together, or denser makes it look darker.
Yeah, and no Insta brows. Those things are terrible, ladies. No Insta brows.
They really are.
These are supposed to look real. This is to help you look like you have a full brow that's full and real, and not that stuff that we see.
And that's the other benefit to using a hand tool as opposed to an actual machine, because they do have microblading machines, but machines can cause stippling, and they can also cause the brow to look kind of like a block.
Yeah,
almost
like
as
it
if
was drawn on. And what's the
Exactly.
point? If it's drawn on, it doesn't look natural.
Exactly.
So
And the
we wanna look
benefit to
natural.
this is you can do each and every single little hair, so it looks even more natural. So what I went ahead and did, because this is a process and I have to wipe it and redo it and wipe it and redo it, is I have an example from a client that I did just the other day. And look how beautiful and real those brows look.
Even on that.
Even on the fake skin.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they look good on a lot of people. But each individual little hair is done, and we make them as thick or as arched or as flat or as shapely as you want.
But not
Custom
Insta
brows.
brows. But not Insta brows.
Custom,
No.
but not
Okay.
instant.
All right, great.
It
That's
does
awesome.
take about 2.5 hours.
All right, so I have some other questions. So you said that it lasts a while, you know, a year, maybe to 2 years. And then it can be redone, I assume.
Touch-ups are recommended,
Touch-ups,
and
okay.
everyone's skin is different. Oilier skin has a tendency to either allow the pigment to fall out or to blur.
Right.
So someone might want to touch up for that.
And a lot of my followers and subscribers I'm heavy on exfoliation routines for people. So
Right, and that can make them fade much faster. If you do a bunch of exfoliation on the brow, they're going to fade quicker.
So one would either be to avoid the brow area, which is not an area you really need to exfoliate for skincare anyway, but be mindful of that, and anything that you use that would be lightening. I assume, like most things like this, using a sunblock would help prolong
Absolutely,
it. Okay?
absolutely, because these are mostly organic, naturally based pigments.
Okay.
So sunscreen is
gonna make it-
excellent. There's iron oxides and things that can happen with a bunch of exposure to sunlight. So it's always good to have sunscreen on your face, especially in Florida, but definitely if you have these custom brows done, because you want them to last.
All right, that's cool. And now I know you don't do it here because we talked about this already, but the newest thing is the hairline for guys who've been balding, people with patchy beard syndrome, their sideburns, one's fuller than the other. I've been seeing a lot of this.
Yeah.
So that is
That's
the newest technology,
repigmentation.
right?
Yep. That's
Okay.
repigmentation, which can be done, as you said, on the scalp or
That's
the
crazy.
beard. I do not do that here because that is exclusively with the machine.
Right.
But that's something I'm looking at for the future.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I know that that's coming up, and I noticed that there's not a lot of information out in the marketplace about that. There's some ads that I'm starting to see now, like on Instagram and Facebook, where they talk about it for guys, but it's something new, and I think that's kind of cool. I mean, anything that makes you feel better about yourself, I'm all for.
Absolutely.
Sans poisons,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So this is really great to get information. I really appreciate it. Miranda Colette, manager at Bambū Eco Salon in St. Pete, where I live. But this treatment's probably available in your local area. Just check it out, and please, by all means, watch the next video that I have on how to take care of your skin for oils and suntan and all the exfoliation, so that you are able to get this done and keep it without destroying the thing that you just spent money on. That's a good point too. What's the cost run in general? You don't have to give me exact.
No problem. So it does depend on how much hair you have going on, what you're trying to do, if you're doing a total restructuring because you have no hair. So it ranges from about $250 to $500, and then possibly even more than that if you have like a lot of reconstruction.
Because I imagine it's fairly time consuming, just like anything. You have to draw it on.
Yes.
So
And I know that a lot of places around here do start a little bit higher than that. So that's to
I
each
just
their
want to,
own.
in general, in the marketplace, it's just interesting because everybody who watches this would be all over the place. So
That's true.
all
I'd
right.
say it'd be fair to say between like 400 and 700.
Okay, so cool. And check the references of the salon that you're doing. You all know this stuff from me. Check the references.
Yes.
Make sure that they're doing things, like she said, in a sterile environment and as pain-free as you possibly can, because I don't like
don't
pain.
have to suffer.
So, all right, great. Thank you so much.